Hello, good evening, and welcome to the LFC Daytrippers. This is a transfer agenda special that will last maximum 18 minutes, because we're 2 minutes late. It should have been 20, but it's 18. We're here because over the last couple of days, talk of Eder Militão from Real Madrid has gathered pace with regards to a move to Liverpool. Eder Militão is Brazilian, 22 years of age. He's 23 in a couple of days, actually. He has a contract at Real Madrid until 2025. A little bit of history on him. At Porto, arrives at Porto in 2018 for £6 million, and he goes to Real Madrid in 2019 for 45 million quid. 1.86 meters tall. Is that tall enough? I don't know. If you told me feet and inches, I would have been able to answer that. And
I was just going to ask you that. What is that in feet? Because I'm confused.
Well, 3 feet in a meter.
Someone will tell us.
3.3 feet in a meter. So he's probably 6'1".
Amazing.
6'1", somewhere around that. And so far this season, 2 appearances in La Liga, 1 in the Champions League, and a couple in the Copa del Rey, I think. Grizz, highly rated, I think is fair to say, especially apart 6'2", 6'1", people are telling us in the chat. But highly rated. He's at Madrid. I don't know whether he's just out of favour there, where there's a couple of injuries have held him back, or he's not settling. I don't know what it is, but I know when he was at Porto, there was a lot of clubs looking at Real Madrid, stole a march and got the deal done in advance, I think, of the season ending. But this is just going around now, Grizz, because Liverpool need a centre back. There's no 2 ways about it. In a perfect world, we sign a centre-back this month, and this seems to be the name that's come forward now after the likes of Botman and the guy from Braga and Alaba was mentioned. Militão was the latest one. First, before we go into the whole, is there anything in it? Is it going to happen? What do you think of the player?
So he was signed for Porto for 6 million, and then the following season, as you said, was sold to Madrid for 45. At that point, I knew of interest in him, and that's the time where, to be honest with you, I first came to sort of see and watch him extensively, because before that, I hadn't heard of him. And even then, Gav, when we were linked with him, I thought he'd be ideal for us. Absolutely ideal. This guy is an absolute animal one-on-one. He fits the bill. We often talk about the kind of centre-back that Liverpool would look for. So we always say that we'd look for someone who's aerial, who has dominance in aerially. He has that. We look for someone who's rapid, and he's probably as rapid as anyone in world football. He started off as a right back. He can play as a right back. So he's got similar traits to sort of Fabinho.
Yeah.
Of course, they're both Brazilian. But in terms of, if you ask me, out of all the names linked, this guy would be ideal in terms of the whole situation that we're facing, and this whole situation Madrid are in. And, it would be a fresh start for him. Now, the reasons for his demise at Madrid, I wouldn't know exactly, but the what we read is sort of in terms of it's a toxic club. We know that.
Kevo Sullivan saying that Jovic left Madrid yesterday. They're clearing out. Where's he gone to?
Jovic is, I'm not sure. I think he may have gone back to Germany, but 100%. He probably.
Good player, him.
Kevo Sullivan may add to that. But this Militão, Gav, we were very much interested when he was leaving Porto, but Madrid stole a march on us, and he signed for Madrid. And I tweeted casually the other day, because I remember his name from 2018, and I linked to him, and I was like, and when all these rumors came out, I was thinking, God, I remember, I said it in the chat. Do you remember? And you was like, oh, really? And I was like, guys, if we can get any chance of Militão, I'd get him tomorrow. And we discussed it, and then lo and behold, today, I must add, it's the same source that told me about THIAGO, so there's very much credibility there. That we are entering talks. We have entered talks with them over a loan move. I'd be chuffed, Gav. I love this player, honest to God. As I said, I don't know the reasons why he's fallen out of favour at Madrid. Madrid have got centre backs. Madrid have got Varane, Ramos, and
I think Kev's right. I think they are looking.
Nacho. What's the other one?
I think Madrid, just by the way they're performing, and just by the way the look of their squad, I think they are going to try get rid of any player they're unsure of. So, Militão might be one of them. Jovic is one of them. There's definitely a couple more in there. Maybe ones that ran their course. Are they going to push Ramos out? We don't know. But to me, I think they're going to look to strip that squad down and then start building again and building with big signings. I think that's the route they're going to go. I think if they can get rid of 8 or 10 players and bring in 6, they will do. Once they can get 6 big enough names, it could be something that just falls into Liverpool's lap. Abdullah Mohammed says on paper he seems to have all the attributes you'd want in a centre half. If we don't sign him in January, loan or permanent, we won't get him in the summer. I don't really know. I don't really know how true that is.
I agree with you. I agree with you in terms of Madrid are known to do this, like sort of, they're not shy in sort of a turnover of players, if you know what I mean. So, some people are saying, oh, he was only bought last season. They don't give a shit. They don't give a shit when someone was bought. If they feel as though they need a refurbish of a squad, then they do so. It doesn't matter when the player was bought. And look, the other day, like sort of, they were playing in a cup game. And, you expect Militão to get a game in a cup game. And then I think one of the centre-backs went off at half-time injured, and they brought on Nacho ahead of him. So, he's fourth choice at Real Madrid. And a lot of people are saying, well, if Madrid are letting go of him, then is he all that? Well, I don't know. I don't know how people get to this sort of point that they're trying to make. I mean, how often have we seen players leaving clubs and flourishing elsewhere? Do you know what I mean? So that's not a good indicator of how good this player is. You always look at the ceiling of a player, and the fact that so many clubs went for him at the time when he left Porto shows you what class he is. And people forget he's only 22. I think
22, yeah, he's 23 in a couple of days. Like Jamie Martin says, we have to get him. It makes so much sense and it suits us. Avi says, watch Militão's unveiling at Madrid. He started having a breakdown when he signed for them in the press conference. I didn't see that. But,
God, yeah.
But it's something I want to get to. That I've read that out for a reason, and I will come back to it. And followed up with a super chat by is it Musa LFC? Thanks for the super chat. He says, I've read it's homesickness and settling in. Now, Grizz, I have to put it to you, because even if this is a loan deal, okay, it's probably more worrying if it's a loan deal, because if it's a loan deal at the end of the season and this guy has moved from Portugal to Madrid, what's to say he turns up in England, doesn't have a breakdown, or doesn't suffer from homesickness? Because Avi says there he's played 23 games in 2 years.
What's to say he doesn't? What's to say he doesn't?
Well, there's more evidence, Grizz. There's more evidence to say that he would, because we're looking at him now and it looks like he has homesickness and not settling in.
I don't think there's any evidence. I think it's just obviously people trying to make presumptions of the situation. He may just not be a Zidane type player. Zidane may not fancy him. With settling in, it's always good to go to a club where you've got friends, fellow countrymen, internationals that you've played with. Alisson, Fabinho and Bobby would absolutely welcome him. That would be a good sort of reason for him to make it easy for him to settle, 100%. But look, at the end of the day, that's why a loan would make sense. And from what I've heard, it is a loan to buy. It's an option to buy at the end of the season, not an obligation. Which I think would suit us, particularly the state of our centre backs. And we've talked about, and sort of the local journalists have talked about, sort of where we're going to make major signings in summer, and one of the major signings being a centre back. So, for example, let's just say Upamecano is our number one choice for the summer. We can assess that again with this deal. It kind of makes sense every kind of way you look at it. Do you know what I mean?
Well, it does make sense money wise, because you're going to pay a nominal fee to loan them, and if the wages are what they suggest to be, they're very manageable. Mr. Naird says Coutinho at Inter springs to mind, a player that just couldn't get a look in. I thought Militão had a really good game against us. Definitely take him on loan. James LFC 86 says he will have our Brazilian boys to help him settle. That's a good point. You know, I'm a bit. I tweeted earlier to say I'm skeptical about this one simply because of that. I've heard about this homesickness stuff and not being able to settle, and I'm thinking he's only moved across the road, you know, to Madrid. What happens if he has to move a couple of towns away in you know,
But we
to
know,
Liverpool?
but you know, how many players have we seen go to the likes of Madrid and Barcelona and never heard of again, like top quality players? And so, you know, they have a history. There's more evidence of the clubs being the issue as opposed to the player. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like, you know, these clubs have a reputation for sort of just buying a player for the sake of it and then just turfing them or not liking them. You know, they have such a high turnover of coaches, all these clubs. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. But Paul Hardwick reckons Real will not loan him out unless they get 45 million guaranteed at the end of it. Paul, the one thing I would say to you on that is that Liverpool definitely have to have targets at centre back, regardless of what's happened to Gomez and Virgil van Dijk. The fact that they put Fabinho in as their fourth centre half this season means that to me they were looking at the end of the season to make a move in the transfer market for a centre back. Now it would have been easy to pick someone up at 10 or 15 million, but he went against that. I think that they were looking to make a big move. I can't see Liverpool, if Militão was their number one target, they could have taken him out of Real Madrid, no problem. But if they're looking for a loan for him, there's no way they're going to get themselves stung with 45 million fee at the end of it. If this happens, it'll be a loan. Well, I think it'll be a loan with an option. And
guaranteed, yeah. I mean, that's
Madrid hoping that he just, you know, does wonders during that time, and Liverpool go, well, we can't let this fella go, you know.
Well, not even wonders. It buys everyone time. It buys the player time. It buys us time, and it buys Madrid time to assess their situation as well. There is sort of stories surrounding this story as well. You see, because Madrid want Alaba as his replacement. And we've been linked with Alaba as well from Madrid. So, you know, there is a lot of backup stories, and, you know, the loan move absolutely makes sense. His wages are manageable. I've been told that they're £65,000 a week, and we have no issues with his wages scenario. He fits every profile, Gav. Everything that we talk about when we talk about players for Liverpool, or centre backs essentially for Liverpool, he fits everything. You know, I'd say he's not brilliant on the ball, Gavin, but he's very, very able on the ball, you know. And the fact that he's
I'll be happy if you can just defend.
Yeah, no, and the fact that he's wonderful at right back as well, you know, it gives us flexibility. 1-on-1 is one of the best defenders around, 1-on-1, and we love defenders that can handle themselves 1-on-1, especially the way we play so high up. We, you know, has to be reliant on his pace, and he'd probably be the quickest, you know, if he came to us out of the centre backs. That's how rapid he is. Yeah. Very good in the air, as I said. Strong tackler. He's got this. His build like Fabinho, where, you know, these legs, Gav, that just get to the ball. He's got this style of tackling, very gangly looking, spider type legs. Do you know what I mean? And I think he's the perfect fit. You know, it's over to Liverpool now, Madrid, to see if we can thrash out a deal. It makes sense in so many ways, Gav.
Well, it does make sense to me, whether it's Militão or anybody that you're bringing in, because I've been on the boat of, listen, if you have to pay a premium and get a fella in, you get him in. And like you've quite rightly said to me, Gav, do all of these players go? Now, I think there is one or two players that may be on the list that you could have got, but I think they have just one or two options that they really, really want. But this could be a stopgap and could end up being a move that they look at the end of the season, you know. Dinesh Karoy, kick racism out of sports. There's a name. That's obviously not his real name. It's just a long name for YouTube. Kaká failed at Real Madrid. Well, in fairness to Kaká at Real Madrid, he'd some act to follow by trying to do what he done at Milan. He was fucking believable at Milan, and loads of players go to Real Madrid and fail because I think it's mental. I think it's a mental club, and it's so cutthroat. Real Madrid is so cutthroat, and what I mean by it is not the standards that Real Madrid have, but you can go there and you're either brilliant or you're crap. There's no in between. Like, I mean, you even see players go from absolute hero of the club to ran out of town. Gareth Bale being the latest one, because Gareth Bale just decided, well, if they're not going to play me, I'll just play golf. And what are you going to do about it? Real Madrid is absolutely insane.
Yeah, this is my point. It's always other side to the story. I mean, as some people have mentioned in the chat with regards to Militão, that he's homesick, etc., etc. Well, you know, we haven't heard the other side of the coin. As you said, so many great players go to Madrid and never heard of again, or feel as though they've wasted their career. Someone mentioned a very good point, and we've discussed it on the Transfer Agenda show in the past as well, with regards to the foreign player rule.
Yeah, well, just before you do, Joe Robinson makes a point with regards to option or obligation. The left back at Spurs, Reguilon, doesn't have an obligation to buy from Madrid. Be surprised if they made it an obligation from Militão. LAF brings up the exact point you're going to talk about. It's what about the foreign players' quota being full? Someone might have to go. The talk is that ADRIAN is leaving the club.
The talk is we're begging clubs for bids for or moves for ADRIAN and Origi. So that explains it all. That tells it all. ADRIAN hasn't been in training for the last 3 sessions. That tells you something. I haven't heard of an injury. I haven't read of an injury. I don't know of an injury. So that's something to look into. Yes, that is a situation. We would have to get rid of one before the end of the window. But, as I said, we're literally begging clubs to make bids for the likes of Origi and ADRIAN. So that is something to look at. But, if there is an opportunity to bring in Militão for a loan and an option to buy at the end of it, I think we explore it. And from what I've been told, we are 100% exploring it. Now, it's not like before people start jumping all over the place like the THIAGO deal, where I was told that it's done. It's going to get done what happens. This is more, we've started negotiations, and we definitely are interested in the player. And so therefore, we will try to thrash out a deal with Real Madrid.
Okay, we've 1 minute before we have to go. But the revenue says, didn't Spurs buy Reguilon? And he follows that up with Madrid have a buyback clause in that contract. I think you might have a point there, Chris, because I think, and I could be completely off mark here, but I think Madrid wanted to give them not an obligation but an option. There was a talk of option obligation. There wasn't an agreement there, but I think Spurs took him maybe with Madrid having a buyback. Matt from the Spurs blog is probably the man to tell us that. But
I know United refused him on something to do with that, didn't
yes, there was definitely, or maybe no, I know what it is. I'm nearly sure it's United wouldn't buy him because the Madrid wanted a buyback and Spurs allowed it to happen. I'm nearly sure that's what happened. Now,
okay, I don't know about that. Yeah. I don't know about that situation, but from what I've been told and heard is that it's an option to buy with Militão. That's what's proposed by us. So that kind of makes sense. We don't want to be committed to. It makes sense for us, you see, Gav, because we don't know the situation with Matip. I genuinely think we let him go in the summer, but we can assess that, you see, in the summer with regards to this. So it doesn't hold us back. We can let go of Matip, bring in another centre back, our number 1 target, as opposed to Militão. And if he's done well, we go with the option to buy and still be left comfortable, with our centre backs that we've got.
Yeah, Dan J says 25 million and Real can buy him back for the same fee. I'm nearly sure. LAF says, yeah, you're right, Gav. I was wrong in the first place when I was reading out that previous comment, but I think it fell down because United wouldn't allow a buyback, and I think Spurs allowed it. And maybe Spurs allowed it on the hope that in a year's time or 2 years' time that they've moved on and found another left back and they decide, no, we'll just take our money. Craig Lowe says LFC Daytrippers always ahead of the journos. Yeah, thanks for that. Someone else asked, where was there? Oh yeah, Jamie Martin. Sorry, I took your comment off the screen a second ago. Is the Friday forecast at 10? Yes, it is. That's why I'm kicking Grizz off this show now. I am preparing for the Friday forecast. It should be a belter. I have, who have I got? I have Paul Nolan. I have Joe from All Leeds TV, and we have Kieran from Rivalry Aside TV. He's making his debut on the show tonight. Of course, we will go through all the fixtures of the Premier League this weekend. We will be a heavy emphasis on Leeds, Spurs, Leeds, Arsenal and Liverpool, because I guess follow those people. And it is with Colossus Bets, and this week the viewers get to pick our choices for our syndicate for the weekend's football. So make sure you're on there. Won't cost you anything. You give us the information. We'll put it out there, and then if you want to join in, we'll give you the link. Grizz, I'm gonna put you on the spot. Not being 0 being no chance, 10 being absolutely. Give me a number between 1 and 10 as regards this signing, whether it's a loan to buy, whatever. He just turns up in Liverpool.
Yeah, at the moment I'd give it a 5/6, but watch this space.
Okay, 5/6. That's not bad. That's not bad. I didn't think it was. Yeah, I thought it'd be about that. I thought you were going to give me about
I
a
mean,
7.
the thing is, there's a lot of competition for him, and he has, unlike Thiago, where Thiago only wanted Liverpool. We don't know what the intentions of the player is, so that makes it very difficult to say yet. Because there's a lot of clubs in for him. Bayern apparently have registered an interest in him as well. Spurs already have an interest in him. So we don't know what the intention of the player is, but we've made clear our intention, and we're interested in the player.
Okay. Dan J puts it down as a 2. FIFA Gaming has it as a 7. Rakshi Papneja, sorry if I've ruined your name, puts it down as a 6. Paul has it as a 1.
Yeah, Paul's a Mr. Negative. I've seen him on Twitter as well. He's
and Captain Sal just says 10. So there you go. He is absolutely all over it. Grizz, I'm going to let you go because I know you have to go off and do another show. Who are you doing a show tonight?
I'm doing a show on Turkish's channel. It's the Big Six review. So
what time's that?
That's at 10 p.m. But stick to LFC Daytrippers. Yeah, exactly. Stay with
you. Watch them Big Six.
Exactly,
saps.
whenever.
Watch them Big Six saps when we're finished. Watch them play, can't you? I'm only messing. Turkish is a terrible, terrible nice person. I'm only joking. That has been the Transfer Agenda special on. Is it Eder Militão? Is that, am I saying it right?
Eder Militão, yeah.
I'm desperate with names.
You get the accent. When you Google it and the accent comes on top of the name, you've got to get that right. Like I done over
Eder Militão. Yeah, it's like a squiggly line over the A.
That's the one.
Yeah. Watch out for it. Right, that's it. See you in 7 minutes. I'm off to get cans. Over and out.